The Helix is coming. You heard that right. The Helix is coming. If you're looking for a place where innovators, entrepreneurs, and other smart people gather, you don't have to go to Research Triangle Park. You don't have to go to Silicon Valley. It is all right here in New Jersey. Minutes from Rutgers University and a short drive or train ride to New York City, Philly, Boston, and DC. So what is the Helix? Well, the Helix is a new innovation district in New Brunswick, New Jersey that offers a range of physical environments, a vibrant innovation community, and a strategic central location. The Helix will uniquely mix workspaces, classrooms, laboratories, venues, and a collaborative environment to create a dynamic community and setting for innovative minds. Universities, startups, Fortune 500 companies, entrepreneurs, researchers, and many others are already signing up to call the Helix home. Thus far, the Helix has assembled a community of innovative private and public organizations such as Rutgers Health, the New Jersey Innovation Hub, RWJ Barnabas Health, Hackensack Meridian Health, universities from Ireland and Israel, and others. The Helix is coming. Visit helixnj.com to learn more.
Wait, are you gaming? On a Chromebook?
Yep. It's got a high-res 120Hz display, plus this killer RGB keyboard. And I can access thousands of games anytime, anywhere.
Stop playing.
What?
Get out of here.
Huh?
Yeah, I want you to stop playing and get out of here so I can game on that Chromebook.
Got it.
Discover the ultimate cloud gaming machine, a new kind of Chromebook.
From NJ.com and the Star Ledger, welcome to the Rutgers Rant, your one-stop podcast for the Scarlet Knights, with your hosts Steve Politti and Rutgers insiders Brian Fonseca and Pat Lenny. Let's start shopping.
All right, welcome back to the Rutgers Rant, our Picks Pod edition for the Wagner game. Wagner. Can't imagine there's going to be a lot of drama in the picks there, fellas, but we have a lot to talk about anyway. And we have to start with this. So if you haven't seen the post yet on our website or on our text service, this podcast, this very show is going live next week. We're going to be live downtown New Brunswick, the Blackthorn Irish Pub. Going to be a fun time. We're going to, free beer to the first beers on us, apparently, which is a reason enough to come, as if hanging out with the three of us wasn't enough of an attraction. Fellas, what are you looking forward to this? I mean, this is going to be something, right? Something?
It'll be a lot of fun. I've been to this bar since I moved to New Brunswick about a year and a half ago, many times, and I could say their beer selection is top notch. So whatever beer you get, you can't go wrong. And then you get to sit in a crowd, and I know you guys all agree on everything. So when we do true and false, you guys can all scream in unison, true and false. And
yes.
Liddy, what are you talking about? And Brian, Pat, what are you guys talking about? Do whatever you do when you listen to this podcast in the car in front of us. So I can't think of a better way to spend a Thursday afternoon in October.
Absolutely. And Pat right now is, if you can't see it, Pat right now is wearing something that looks like that Paulie Walnuts would have worn in the second season of The Sopranos. It's, how would you describe it? It's like a maroon and white.
Velour. It's a velour, maroon, and white tracksuit. And maybe I'll wear this down to Blackthorn. I think it'll be a big hit with the crowd. Absolutely. I could bring my other velour tracksuit for Brian if you want to wear that.
Right. That'd be great. Maybe we should all wear matching tracksuits. That would be almost too much excitement for the Rutgers fans who are making it out to the Blackthorn. Thursday, October 5th, 6:30 p.m. We're going to record at 7 p.m.
I'm going to get you one of those Guy Fieri visors with the hair, Politti.
Oh,
will you wear that?
Absolutely. Sure.
Right. And a fire button-up, a fire short-sleeve shirt button-up. Your T-shirt will have a fire on it, and then I will burn every single photo taken of us on that stage wearing these outfits because I think that will destroy all of our future job prospects. But I think it would look very cute. And imagine everyone in the crowd has to wear it too. Everyone wears their nice little full tracksuit get-ups. I think
everyone tracksuits and Guy Fieri visors. That's the look.
I love it. All right. So we're going to have a good time. We'll talk. You guys, as you know, if you listen to the show, we take questions every week. This week, we're going to try to take questions from a live audience, see if the technical side of it pulls it off. Should be fascinating. But it's going to be a good time anyway. We'll hang out for a while. We'll chat. Again, Blackthorn, Thursday night, 6:30. I think we'll get there. 7 o'clock. We'll start hanging out and doing the show. We'll be there all night. So look for the registration, NJ.com /Rutgers football. It's in every one of our posts these days. There's actually an entire story about it. But register soon because there are believe it or not, there's limited spots, apparently. I don't believe
they're filling up fast.
They're filling up fast. Could you just imagine? Yeah.
This is free, and you get a beer. It's not free. You're paid to show up. So, yeah, everyone, please show up and don't leave us hanging.
Don't leave us hanging. Exactly. All right. Let's dive into the show. We got Wagner week again. Last week when we did the Picks Pod, if you were listening, savvy listeners noticed there was a moment in the Picks Pod where we're trying to decide what line to use. And I said, Brian told me that the line was 24, and he said, would you like to make it 24.5 so we can avoid the push? And I said, no, let's just use 24. And Lanny, I don't know why you did. At this point, you could have jumped in, Pat, and said, why would we do that? But you didn't.
I didn't. I got nervous, and I just it made sense what you were saying. You were just like, no, it's 20. The line is 24. We're sticking with 24. So like I didn't address it in the moment. I couldn't even process that.
The moment I said those words, if someone was smart enough to drive to Delaware, can you bet on a push? Is that like a bet?
I don't think so.
Soccer, you can bet a tie.
Someone's got to be able to give you, like, I just want to bet the push at 24 points because it was obviously that's what's going to happen. It's exactly what happened in the 31-7 victory. We all pushed. No one takes the lead. So, hey, all right. So no blood drawn last week. I don't know what we're going to do. How are we going to pick a line? It's going to be a half point. Whatever the line is this week, that has to be a half point.
So FCS lines don't come out until Friday or Saturday of the game.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure what the reason for that is, but that's just the way it's always been. So we don't have an official line that I could find, at least as of Thursday morning when we're recording this. But I'm sure some of our listeners use Reddit. There's an FCS subreddit where people are obsessed with FCS football, and they do their own lines for every game. It's a very impressive sheet. If you guys want to look at it, I can send you guys a link. But anyway, one of the games, obviously, Wagner Rutgers, and they put us in the same scenario. They got Wagner plus 46 or Rutgers minus 46. So I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys can vote amongst yourselves. Should we go 45.5 or should we go 46.5?
Wow. Pat, what do you think?
46.5 based off last year's.
You want to go higher than 46? 46.5? Okay.
46.5.
All right. Well, then I know which direction I'm going because you have now tilted the universe in that direction. But okay, 46.5 is the line. We'll make our picks in a minute. Let's talk about this game the best we can. Last year, you guys, I love the fact that both of you have asked questions. I think both of you at least have asked questions that have angered Greg Schiano with the foregone conclusionness of this game because he is ready you would never think a man who lost to New Hampshire would want to bring that up as much as he does. But Greg Schiano wants the world to know that he lost to New Hampshire his first time around, and it was a bad deal. He's not going to take this game lightly. Made that point a million times. Brian, what did you say that pissed him off the first time?
I asked him on Monday if this game comes at the right time because it's after 4 FBS teams. The next 2 opponents are coming off bye weeks. I didn't say this per se, but what I was insinuating is this is essentially another bye week because their bye week doesn't come till week 9. Yeah. And the fact that I was overlooking Wagner, you would think they're playing the 85 Bears or something. And I mean, Pat could talk about this. When Pat asked him yesterday, his question, I thought Greg was going to, thank goodness it wasn't on camera. I thought Greg was going to put on the tracksuit he's wearing and jump him.
What happened?
Oh, God. I've already blacked this out of my mind because, I thought his eyes got pretty wide. I asked him, 84 players played in the game last year. What's it like knowing that you're going to be able to get some new faces into the game? And he said, you might know that 84 players got in the game, but that's not what I'm thinking about. I was standing there when we lost to New Hampshire and there were fireworks going off. And I remember standing there and watching the fireworks and being disgusted. So I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about Wagner. I'll paraphrase that. And
Yeah, that's great.
So if you were watching that New Hampshire game, you got to let us know on the pod if there were fireworks or if that was just something that was going off in his mind.
That's great. I can't imagine that
they were shooting off fireworks.
They had to use. I'm sure they were trying to get people to go to that game. And what year was that? 2001,
2004. That was right after they upset Michigan State.
Right, 2004.
That was his first big win, and then the week after. They dropped the stinker. I wasn't around for that, but I have to imagine that Wagner doesn't have the next incarnation of Chip Kelly, right? And I don't think Ricky Santos is going to play. So I think the message is more for his players than us and the general public. I just don't think he wants his players to take their foot off the throttle. I just can't think Wagner's going to put much of a challenge up. They needed Merrimack to absolutely botch a field goal in the last second to beat them by 3 points on their homecoming game. No one just shows up to Staten Island and beats Wagner on homecoming, but I just think they're not going to come into Piscataway and become, New Hampshire 2.0.
Yeah. Bosciano did make the point that they were coming off a 21 game losing streak last year when they came to SHI Stadium. This year, they're coming in on a 2-game winning streak.
Ooh, there you go. Wagner is truly rolling now. We kid because we love, but no, I mean, Greg Schiano's figured this out during 1.0. Greg Schiano, that he was not going to play a good FCS team anymore. He's going to play the bad ones. So this Wagner's a bad one. And even if he did play a good one, the talent in the program now is to the point where you're not going to lose these games. He's not going to lose these games anymore unless something just terrible happens. And let's face it, that would be completely unforeseen. Someone make a recording of this and throw it in my face next week if it does happen, but it won't happen. So we're going to talk about this game from the standpoint of what Rutgers can get out of it. You said 80, is that right? 84 players last year. That's it. That's kind of incredible.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, that mixes in special teams and things like that, but still. That's why I thought it was such a great question. It was an opportunity for him to be like, yeah, all these young guys are going to get in the game. And he went the complete opposite way.
No rat poison for the Wagner locker room. You don't want to get those boys any more fired up when they're coming to SHI Stadium.
Give me some names on this roster that we're going to see this. I mean, obviously obvious. I mean, we're looking forward to seeing the quarterbacks. I think that is, this is a chance. We've only seen Gavin Wimsatt this entire year. We've got to see Evan Simon. We've got to see a Johnny Shepard. I mean, both these guys are probably going to redshirt at this point, I would think. It doesn't make any sense not to redshirt your quarterbacks if you don't have to play them. They're committed to Gavin Wimsatt. Give a chance for Evan Simon to develop a little bit. That said, I mean, it was a competition last year at this point, right? These guys were 1A and 1B. Are we going to see a lot of those two?
I would think so. If there's ever a time for you to play your backup quarterbacks, this is it. I would think that Gavin would play until they get a comfortable lead, and then you switch it up. I think that's the perfect plan. To answer your question, some guys I'm looking forward to seeing. This kid had a great preseason, great training camp. He's a true freshman, Bo Masco, freshman cornerback. He was really exciting. It's just, think about the names that they have at cornerback now, so he's not going to see the field. But Bo Masco could be a really good name to circle. And let's throw.
That's such a good sign, by the way, for this program that they have a cornerback that you're excited to see that they're not playing right away.
Right.
I mean, that does tell you that things are better than they've been.
No question. And the other, we've talked about the 10 offensive linemen that have played, which is a great sign. Mm-hmm. But I remember 2 years ago, there was a lot made about how many offensive linemen they brought in that recruiting class.
Sure.
And one of the names that always stood out to me, because I covered him when he was at Bosco and Demarest, is Joe DeCroche. And he had a little injury last year, but he's back. And I would like to see a little Joe DeCroche action on the offensive lines.
Wow, that is a deep cut right there. Joe DeCroche. All right. Fonseca, you got anybody?
Yeah, a lot. I think Moses Walker is a guy who's played every game on special teams, but I think people will be really excited to see him play some linebacker. I think that would be fun to see how he looks in that position. I'm excited to see the younger tight ends. They've only really used Johnny Langan and Sean Bowman. Victor Konopka and Mike Higgins were guys that played sporadically last year. I'd like to see how they look. I'm excited to see the young wide receivers. Dylan Braithwaite, Jesse O'Fury, and Fama Toure are both two guys that are coming back from injury that Greg Schiano talked about. I know Pat wrote about that this morning. Just see how those guys look. Devon Fuse is another young wide receiver. So yeah, a lot of young future players of the future that can kind of give that first glimpse and get fans to have something to talk about with them for the next 12 months or so. So those guys are what I'm looking for.
It's interesting with wide receivers. I wonder if that's the one position group that we're going to see the five regulars, because they still need reps. I mean, I want to see more Ian Strong. I want to see one of these guys, a couple of these guys dominate this game. That's one thing you'd probably be a day where Rutgers could run the ball at will. But if you remember that game last year, it was our introduction to Chris Long, right? With that incredible Gavin Wimsatt rocket pass and the beautiful catch by Long for the touchdown kind of got that thing started. So I'll be interested to see if there's a breakout guy from the normal rotation of receivers.
Yeah. And how about running backs too? Because we keep saying that Sam Brown is building back up to form. Yeah. This could be the game that he turns it on. And same thing with Aaron Young. He had that one nice run against Michigan, but I feel like this is a really good opportunity to get him some looks and some carries to get him going for this really important stretch as well.
And Gavin, it's your point about Gavin. I'd like to see Gavin maybe stretch the field or take some more risks than he has against the first 4 opponents, because Wagner affords some of that, right? Like they've been pretty cautious with him, not wanting to turn the ball over. I think you can afford a turnover or 2 against Wagner. So to that effect, kind of not open up the playbook, but let him throw over the middle a little further. Let him throw some deep bombs. Let him try that Chris long pass, which I asked him about on Tuesday, and he kind of smiled and said it came up on his Instagram feed the other day, and he rewatched it. So yeah, I think I'm excited to see. However little, I think you're right, probably a half at most he'll play. I'm excited to see if they let him try a little bit more than he has so far.
And we've alluded to this, but I do agree. I do think that this game has come at the absolute perfect time. You get through the first 4, you're 3-1. You just played one, if not the hardest game on the schedule, one of the 3 we talked about ad nauseam, one of the 3 hardest games on the schedule. And then you're going into the stretch where the season will be decided, so before you get Wisconsin, before you have Michigan State, before Indiana, all right, here's a chance to kind of get things right, to make corrections that you saw against, and I think come up with a game plan to play those 3 teams, right? I'm not sure what the winning formula is to beat a Wisconsin, but maybe we see some of that again in this game.
Wagner season, Steve.
Wagner season. Oh, yes. The Wagner season. Thanks for reminding me. Fireworks after this game. Do we have fireworks? We don't have fireworks, but we do have 2 pretty big things honoring the 1976 team being inducted to the Rutgers Hall of Fame. I'm sure your first question about that was like mine. Like, wait, the 1976 team's not in the Rutgers Hall of Fame already, but they're being inducted. About 50 players, is that right? Did I make up that number? Yep.
Yeah, 50 players coming back. Yeah, exciting times. You're right. How the best team took this long to get into the Hall of Fame, like that is crazy. Obviously, first bowl game, right? Too, or they turned down a bowl game.
There weren't a lot of bowl games then. Their first bowl game was 78, I believe. But I can't tell you exactly because they played lesser competition back in that day. It was Colgate and Lehigh, right? But they're the last undefeated team, I believe, in program history, which is it's not easy to do, obviously.
All right, and then we've got pizza tasting, but it's not really pizza. I mean, what it sounds kind of cringy, but tell me what's going on with the pizza thing.
So Pizza Hut is sponsoring this game, and so there's a pizza theme. It's Dollar Slice Day, presented by Pizza Hut. Slices of pizza will sell for $1 at concession stands inside the stadium from 2:30 through the end of the first quarter while supplies last. This is a Wagner game, so I'm not sure how big the crowd will be, but I think Dollar Pizza will get some people in the door. But before that, starting at 11 a.m. when the boardwalk opens, the first ever Pizza Fest at Rutgers will happen. Every food truck on the boardwalk will have some form of pizza item listed on this. I guess, do you guys want to go one by one and kind of just give me a quick thoughts on this, or you want me to just read it out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go for it.
Let's go one by one. I want visceral reactions from you guys. All right. Mm-hmm. Pizza rice balls.
What balls?
Delicious.
Rice balls?
Delicious.
Pizza rice balls.
I mean, basically, a rice ball is a pizza flavor. It's marinara. You dip it in marinara.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll try that. Sure. I'm with you, Pat. Thanks for talking me into it. Yep.
Pizza donuts.
Pizza donuts. No, that's not a good idea. Sugar, I guess, can't be sugar on it. Is cheese on a donut? Then it's a bagel. Stop it.
I don't have the details on this. Pizza ice cream.
No, we're just getting silly.
Sounds disgusting. I bet it's amazing.
Do you think it's amazing? Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'm sticking with disgusting. All right.
I'm just curious in how they're going to make what is it going to look like? What's I don't know.
The chunks of pepperoni in your ice cream. Is that going to make it better?
I don't know. My roommate went to Portland a couple weeks ago and went to this ice cream shop that had a bunch of these weird different flavors. And he said some of them weren't that bad. So I'm kind of optimistic that whichever food truck this is, we'll figure it out.
What else they have? You know what else they have in Portland?
What?
A lot of legal marijuana. That's what you have before you go to the ice cream shop. We have that here now, I guess, too.
We got 2 dispensaries on my block alone. So I could bring some over if you'd like. Just don't tell our boss. 2 more. One I think is maybe the easiest one so far. Pizza cheesesteaks.
Sure. Yeah, I'm in for that. Absolutely. Yep.
That sounds good.
It's yeah. Okay.
To your point, Pat, it's kind of, you can already make a pizza cheesesteak. You just add marinara sauce and
fold the pizza.
Right. And this is the last one that's specifically listed. This is the one I think I have the hardest mental hurdle to overcome for this. Pizza, coffee.
Yeah, it's a hard no. That's a hard no on that one. Oof, man.
Me spitting out my regular flavor coffee.
Yeah,
that
was tough timing. As I saw Pat lift his cup to his mouth as he said pizza, coffee. I said,
almost a Danny Thomas spit take, which is another cultural reference that neither one of you will get. That would have been good.
Way over my head.
Right over. Great.
So I'm excited to try them. There's also going to be a special edition Rutgers Pizza T-shirt thrown out to fans. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that ourselves, but it should be a unique day on the Rutgers Boardwalk.
I guess I just have a problem with Pizza Hut being are the people in New Jersey really going to pizza? I guess college students, maybe it's cheap, it delivers, but I mean, if you're eating at Pizza Hut in New Jersey, you need an intervention. You need people to gather you in a room and sit you down and with like just a list of places you can do better than that. You can do better than that in a million directions. I just don't understand how that could possibly be a sponsor of New Jersey football. But hey, again, I don't want to yuck your yum. If that's your thing.
I think Pizza Hut's marketing budget is a little bit bigger than PJ's Pizza or Daniel's. Yeah, just maybe if all the small time pizzerias gathered together and pooled one big marketing budget, I just think Pizza Hut's a little bigger than those places. That's why.
Are you suggesting there should be a pizza fest sponsored by some company that has drawn the mire of NJ.com lately at Rutgers? Wow. Is that what you're suggesting?
I am suggesting no such thing.
A one-bite pizza fest?
One-bite pizza fest. We can just get all the stoolies after us too. Is that what you want to do?
Hiding under my desk after with the thought of that.
Experience the Eldridge Hotel, a luxury hotel that's perfect for both the business and leisure traveler. Ideally located within minutes of Rutgers University, the Eldridge is convenient to all the action and activities at SHI Stadium, Jersey Mike's Arena, and the Rutgers University campus. The moment you walk through the doors of the Eldridge Hotel and Conference Center, you know you're someplace different. A place with an independent spirit and a boutique vibe. A place where you can immerse yourself in your meeting or event as easily as you can the local culture. Located in the heart of the city, the Eldridge lets you experience all that New Brunswick has to offer. Whether you're coming to New Brunswick for a fun weekend with friends, in town for a Scarlet Knights game, or attending a business meeting, book your accommodations today at theeldridge.com.
All right. Pizza Fest 1976 team and Wagner. All right. I think we've reached a moment where we need to pick the Wagner game. You're still in the lead, Fonseca. I mean, with the tie now, just, still get the 1-game lead. I think this is going to be an interesting one. This is an opportunity for us to gain on you, I think. 46.5 points. It's kind of a toss up. What direction you going in?
It's a lot of points. It's a better Wagner team. The boys will be fired up taking the bus from Staten Island. They're out for revenge from 66-7 loss last year. But Rutgers is better. Rutgers is deeper. And I think Rutgers won't be able to not beat Wagner by less than 50 points, even if they tried. So I am laying the points. Give me Rutgers minus 46.5. Book it.
Wow. Okay. A little disappointed. I was hoping you would take the points. That'd be a trap, but you're too smart for that. I get it. All right, Pat, are you going to go against them for the sake of going against them, or are you going to play it safe and stick with them?
No, I can totally see Rutgers running away with this one. Literally, big run after big run, broken tackles, just huge chunk plays at a time. So I unfortunately will not be gaining any ground on Fonseca this week because I will also be taking Rutgers with the points, 46.5. You just look at it, and Rutgers is a program that's far ahead of its FCS competition. Should have little problem with this game, and it's a good opportunity to rest up. Despite what Coach Greg Schiano wants us to think, there will not be fireworks going off that he'll have to endure, or maybe there will be, but they'll be in his favor. So, long story short, Rutgers with the points.
Give me a score. What's the score?
I'm going with the shutout. Let's go with the shutout. 61-0.
61-0. All right. So well safe.
Let me give you some intel that I probably should have given you guys before. The lines are Rutgers minus 46. Mm-hmm. The over-under is 48.
Oh, so wow. The over-under is 48.
They seem to think Rutgers is going to win 46-2. Somehow give a safety. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how the bookmakers at Reddit FCS are figuring this out.
Might not be Vegas quality line we're using here, but okay, 48.
So I'll give you my score prediction because I didn't. I'll agree with Pat on the shutout. I will say 49-0.
49-0. All right. I'm trying to see if I can talk myself into like a 56-10 result where I could sneak in with the half point. I just can't do it. I think both of you are right. It's going to be a blowout. We've seen these games before. Like Greg Shannon's going to try to score a lot of points before halftime and put his players in and let them play to the end. It's not going to be a situation where they're kneeling on the ball in the third quarter to get the hell out of there. So yeah, I'm going to go 56-7. That's 46? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think we'll give Wagner a touchdown, but not much more than that. So we're all laying the 46.5 points. No blood will be drawn this week. We'll have to get to the real games next week to see if we can gain on Fonseca. All right. So I know what everyone's been waiting for. The alumni game, Boomer versus Zoomer. This is really exciting, Brian. What you didn't know was happening behind the scenes this week. What Pat and I have kept from you is that we're plotting how to properly do this for the Wagner game, because as I'm sure you puzzled out, there are not enough Wagner alumni to truly have a good time with this. We could do it, but we would just be picking ridiculous names here because there just aren't, it doesn't exist. So
as opposed to the non-ridiculous names you pick every week.
Good one. I like it. So we're giving you an option for this week's alumni game. You can either pick one of these two categories. And this is important because I think one of them is a little easier than the other one, but you don't know which one that is. So you can either pick other famous Wagners for the alumni for the game, or famous Staten Island natives. We're going to give you one of those two. Give it a couple of seconds to think about it. So instead of trying to identify Wagner alumni, either other famous Wagners, as that would suggest. This is like the end when Wheel of Fortune, you're picking the letters you want. This is what you're doing here. You get to pick one of those two things.
So what's Wheel of Fortune?
No, don't know. Oh, that's great. I love it. Good one.
The only Wagner I know that comes to mind is an obscure Brazilian soccer player named Wagner Love. I'm sure you've never heard of Wagner Love.
He's not on the five. Other Wagners I've come up with. No.
I figured you weren't following Russian soccer cult heroes. So I will go with Staten Island natives and pray that you put Pete Davidson on there.
I think you made a good choice. However, I am now deleting Pete Davidson.
No, give me a free one. Give me a free one.
You got a free one. I'm giving you a free one. You're going to get a free one. You're not going to get two free ones, though. You can probably get two free ones. All right. I think you made the right choice.
You made the wide.
I'm going to give them to the other notable Wagners. Honus Wagner. Of course, you know that one. That's an easy one. The Wagner Group. Do you know what the Wagner Group is? If you follow current events, you must know the Wagner Group. Nope. Don't know. Okay. Richard Wagner.
Is that a conductor?
Yes, it is a famous composer. I think is it better than conductor, composer. We would have given you that one. Robert Wagner. I mean, 80s actor, famous Heart to Heart star of Heart to Heart in the 1980s. No. And I was going to put on John G. Wagner, who is the Colonel Henry Rutgers of Wagner University. John G. Wagner gave the school $12,000. So it was more expensive to have your name put on Wagner than it was to have your name put on Rutgers. Colonel Henry Rutgers famously gave $5,000 to the school. So there you go.
Does that account for inflation?
No, I guess that's a good point. I don't know what year it was, but anyway. So there you go. Those are the other famous Wagners. But you've correctly chosen other famous Staten Island natives, our island to the east, the least popular of the 5 New York City boroughs. Here we go. Number 1 for 1 point. Do you know who Christina Aguilera is?
She's a singer.
No, see, I told you I'm giving you one free one. There you go. Good job. All right. Number 2. Do you know who the Wu-Tang Clan is?
Yes, the rap group.
Yes.
Right.
2 for 2.
Easy.
Wu-Tang Clan from Staten Island. I did not know that. Did you know that?
No idea.
I did not know that. That's good. That's good stuff. All right. 2 for 2.
Christina Aguilera was in No Doubt, right? Or am I thinking of someone else?
You're thinking
that's
Gwen Stefani. Yeah, Gwen Stefani.
I was about to be so excited. Like, I've seen her in live. I've seen her in person. I guess I have not seen her in person.
You've seen No Doubt live? That's interesting in itself. Wow.
Yeah, they were doing a festival. Like, I was in high school.
Gotcha.
They were very good.
Long time ago when you were in high school. All right, going a little bit further back. Do you know who Cornelius Vanderbilt is? Cornelius Vanderbilt.
I'm pretty sure he's the railroad magnate who donated money to Vanderbilt University and is the, father of one of the biggest, richest families in the history of American history.
Yes, that is correct. Got it. I guess they gave it away. American business magnate. I didn't know he was from Staten Island either.
I figured he was from Nashville.
Family. I would have guessed too. Born in Staten Island, died in Manhattan. Who knew? Yes, Cornelius Vanderbilt. You're 3 for 3. You might get them all. Could you possibly get them all right? This is the key one, I think, for me. Number 5's hard, but I think I have a chance of it. Number 4, if you can get this one, this will be truly a great moment in the alumni game. Joan Baez. Do you know who Joan Baez is?
Wow.
Joan
Baez. B-A-E-Z.
This is killing me. I have 2 thoughts. My initial instinct is like a singer, but it feels like she's not a singer. Ooh. Is it? For some reason, I think she was like the marathon lady who lied about completing the Boston Marathon. I might be thinking about someone completely.
Yep, I think you're thinking of Rosie. What was her name, Pat? You know?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, and
no. It turns out Joan Baez is a singer. Actually, you had it right the first time. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's sad.
That's famous folk singer. Staten Island native. Did not know that.
I would have never guessed either. I would have thought San Francisco.
Not that I spent a lot of time wondering where Joan Baez was from, but yep, Staten Island. All right. And finally, and this one is a Wagner graduate. This is the one famous Wagner alumni, other than Tim Capstraw, famous basketball broadcaster. The one Wagner alum of note that I think people might know. Robert Loggia.
This one is he a baseball player?
No, you might know him if you saw him. Robert Loggia. Can we give him a hint? No, we'll give it away.
No, I don't know this one at all either.
You don't know Robert Loggia. All right. He's a famous actor. Nominated for the Academy Award. He's a character actor, a gruff guy. You've probably seen him in something. He was in The Sopranos.
What was his role in The Sopranos?
I'm not remember what his role in Sopranos. That's a good question. What his role in Sopranos was. Someone's going to tell me that, I'm sure.
Let me look that up. It's going to kill me. Bro, how do you spell Loggia?
Loggia.
Loggia.
Small role. He was in the Pink Panther film.
Oh, he was the guy who got out of jail. He was Feach LaManna.
Oh, Feach LaManna.
He was Feach LaManna.
What episode was that? Is he in a lot of episodes or just the one?
They send him back to jail by leaving the trailer of stolen goods in his driveway.
Yes, Pizza. Of course, I remember that now. That's right. That is hilarious. Pizza.
Yeah, he comes back from jail. He goes to Uncle Junior's house. They have lunch. He talks about the old days, how he beat some guy in jail.
There you go, Wagner College, Feach LaManna. I should have, if I had said Feach LaManna, you would have gotten it right. I'm still going to give you a win here. I still think you won this week on the game. People said I've been too easy on you lately, but 3 out of 4 Staten Island alumni. You are an honorary. You now can say you are an honorary Staten Island resident. Congratulations.
Me and Pete Davidson. I will say, I don't know if I should say that you're going easy on me, but I do feel like I should. Like, me taking a blind guess that Joan Baez is a singer feels a little too. Feels like I should like name a song or name an era or name a genre. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't just say Robert Loggia as an actor. I should say he was Feach LaManna or something like that.
If we have to grade on the curve after some of the ones you've gotten wrong here, Brian. I don't want to be mean, but you want us to now demand that you tell us Joan Baez's famous song.
I'm getting a little cocky. What can I say?
She recorded Diamonds and Rust in 1975, Steve. No, we don't want, we're gonna be kinder than that. Probably. Maybe for Wisconsin with the live audience when they're booing. This would be great. This would be in front of a live audience. The sweat dripping down your forehead when I do not give you Drew Carey, is he a Wisconsin? Looks like he's a Wisconsin graduate. Someone, the most famous Wisconsin graduate. We'll see how that goes.
Was Chris Farley a Wisconsin grad?
I don't know. Good question. Don't give any more though, because we might have to use these.
I do know who Chris Farley is, so that's off the list if he is one.
Off the list. Fair enough. All right. We'll try again next week. Good job. I think you did well this week.
Oh, Chris Farley, Marquette.
Ooh. Probably offensive that you mistook a Marquette alum for Wisconsin. That's going to start a civil war over in Milwaukee. But okay, so these two this week should be pretty easy, I think.
Okay. All right.
This first one, I was surprised Pat didn't know what this was. We were walking up the stairs of Michigan Stadium, and I saw one, and Pat said, "What is this? Do you know, Steve, what a glizzy is?"
What a glizzy is? Could you use it in a sentence? Can you spell it?
Glizzy. That glizzy was pretty good.
Oh, is it like an ice cream blizzard sundae kind of thing? Maybe glizzy. That's what it sounds like.
Every Saturday, Rutgers has a home game. I eat at least one glizzy.
Really? No, I don't. I'm stumped. What's the one? I don't.
Halftime hot dogs, baby.
Halftime hot dogs is a glizzy?
A glizzy is a hot dog. Yes.
Oh no, I've never heard that. Wow. Okay. Huh. That sounds pretty sus to me.
That's pretty good. And this one should be easy as well. Do you know what it means to gas someone up? Someone or something up?
Gas to psych them up, to get them excited, right? To pump them up.
Yes.
I got it.
To speak well of them, yes.
To speak well of them, yes. I gas you guys up all the time, man. You have no idea how much Manahan wants to rip you guys down. I'm always gassing you up. Come on.
You gassed me up after the alumni game, so.
I did. I'm the chief staff gasser. Yes, so I know that. Absolutely. Good one.
Good job.
Good one.
Right, I didn't know glizzy. I don't understand why we have to invent new names for a hot dog. It's like an American staple that I feel like it's disrespectful to nickname a hot dog. Hot dog is
totally
hot dog.
Totally agree. If I go to Rudd's Hut and try to order a glizzy, what are they going to do? They're going to laugh me out of that place.
They're going to go from behind the counter and punch you in the face for
and they should. A glizzy with gravy. They're going to say, "Get the hell out of here. You're sus, man. No cap." Good job. All right. What else do we got? Let's wrap this up. You got some basketball stuff for us?
Yeah, I went to hoops practice yesterday. Checked them out for the first time this season. A lot of new faces, a lot of returning faces who have made some improvement. I don't have any real big picture takeaways from practice. It was a 2-hour practice, some good, some bad, but I think that we'll get a more clear picture when I see more. But I thought, initially I thought Noah Fernandez, the point guard, looked pretty good, looked healthy. Austin Williams is working his way back into shape, but I could see the glimpses of the athleticism that they really liked seeing out of him on his film from when he played at Hartford. Cliff looks as jacked as ever. Antoine Woolfolk, Steve Pikiell has been talking a lot about how much weight he's lost. He does look thinner. He does look more agile. Like it's very noticeable how much better he looks physically. And yeah, I think Jeremiah Williams is a guy that's not going to play this year almost certainly because he won't get the waiver. But I thought he really jumped off the court when I was watching him. I was pretty impressed. So if anything, he'll be a great practice player. He looks bought into that role, really good chemistry with the guys, hyping them, gassing them up after every play, and just being a good character guy. So I think he'll be a good addition just even in practice. I don't know. Steve Pikiell, obviously defense is his calling card. He said in an interview last week with Brian DeNovalis, former News 12 reporter, now has his own podcast, that he is, quote, scared to death of his defense. I asked him about that yesterday. Scared to death. About
like not in a good way, in a bad way.
As in he's worried about where they are defensively.
Oh boy. Okay.
Though he told me the same thing, that the offense is way ahead of the defense. He did kind of cushion that with, everyone this time of year is both worried about everything and optimistic about everything. They'll know a lot more as camp progresses, but he seems to really like this group. I think he's liked every group he's had, to be fair, but he really likes this group. I think he's excited about the new guys, Jermichael Davis and Gavin Griffiths, and what they bring. He's excited about the development of the other guys. And I think he's excited for the year. I think we're looking at it as a bit of a transitional year before that big 2024 class comes in. And it's a little bit after, the Caleb McConnells and Ron Harper Jr.'s and Geo Bakers of the world are leaving. But I think I think they can make something of this season. And I'm very fascinated to see how they look we'll see them again before then, but I'm excited to see how they look against Princeton and how they measure up, because I don't have a very good gauge on what this team will look like. I think they'll take a step back, but until we see them in action, I don't think we'll really know.
I'm a little curious about that being being an offensive team that loses a couple of pretty important offensive players, loses your leader scorer, loses your starting backcourt. Does that mean they're going to run a lot, I guess? Is that what you're telling me? Is Andre Hyatt going to take 27 shots a game? I mean, what does that mean, I guess, when you say that?
Right. I think that's been the kind of buzzword, fast, athletic. That's what they've been. I asked Noah Fernandez. I talked to him for a bit, Noah Fernandez, and I just asked him how the first couple months been here. And within 3 sentences, he's talking about how athletic they are and how they want to play fast and how that's a Hooper's dream to be able to kind of run up and down the court. Steve Pikiell seemed to kind of pump brakes on that, say they try to play fast every year. It kind of depends on a lot of factors. They play hard defense. They offensive rebound a lot. I think they'll play faster. I don't think they'll be the run, baby, run, run, Rutgers, run, baby, run, St. Peter's teams of the past. I think they'll try to play faster, but there's another team on the other side that'll try to slow them down. I don't think they can play much slower than they have. So
I was just going to say, who in the Big Ten is running? I mean, it's just the characteristics of the league to play physical, grinded out basketball. It doesn't. Maybe Rutgers can reinvent itself as this team that totally does things differently, but I don't.
We talk about it now, and then it's 50-48 with a minute to go against Northwestern in February. Yeah, exactly.
Steve Pikiell makes a good point about that like sometimes your game plans are dictated by the opponent. I mean, I don't think you want to run with Michigan State, which to Pat's point is pretty much the only team in the Big Ten that runs up and down the court. Right. But Wisconsin isn't going to let you grab a rebound and run down the court because by the time they miss the shot, they have 5 guys in the backcourt. So I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see how they implement that, but I think they're very confident about. Like JaMychal Davis apparently has Jacob Young numbers as far as his athleticism, and they're very confident.
Really?
Yeah, wow. That's the word that Steve Pikiell used with me and with a couple of other places I've seen. So, they're confident in Austin Williams and Noah Fernandez, what he can do athletically. He's going to have to be a Derek Simpson, but Noah Fernandez has got to be a guy that does burst to the rim because, I mean, candidly, he's 5'11", 5'10". He's going to be one of the shorter guards in the league, and he's not going to shoot over people. So he's going to have to be kind of shifty, get to the rim, finish. That's another interesting thing. Backcourt is a lot shorter than they usually are. Steve Pikiell likes those. Caleb McConnell was 6'6", Paul Mulcahy was 6'7", Geo Baker was shorter, quote unquote, at 6'4". Now your tallest guard is Austin Williams, who's 6'4". How they kind of maneuver that will be interesting. So just a lot of and Mawot Mag, by the way, a point. He's cleared for contact. They're not. He's cleared for contact. Steve Pikiell told me that yesterday. He is not in the scrimmaging yet. He's not. He's kind of shooting on the side and doing defensive drills. But the fact he's at this point in September is a very good sign. And
will he play against Princeton? You'd have to imagine then.
I think that's still kind of up in the air. I think they're being cautious with him. I think rightfully so. I think he's a really important part about what they do, and he'll be a really big key of fixing that defensive. I think that'll ease some of Steve Pikiell's nervousness about the defense. But yeah, I think he's doing very well. They're confident about Emmanuel Ogbole, who also tore his ACL in March. He's cleared for non-contact, so he's easing his way back. So I don't think there's a lot of concerns about their health in the offseason, and they've done a good job of Rich Campbell and the training staff has done a good job of rehabbing those guys. So we'll see. We shall see. 6 weeks to go, long way to go, but we shall see.
All right. This podcast will post on our website after the biggest field hockey game of the century. I believe I'm going to call it that. I'm going to go there. Field hockey versus Maryland. Puck Winter leading the Scarlet Knights. Like my new favorite player. I can't believe there's a player named Puck Winter on the field hockey team, and neither one of you told me that. I'm a huge fan. I'm going to get her an NIL deal with something. So that'll be happening on Thursday. We'll recap that next week. You'll be there, Brian. Is that my understanding? You're going to go to that game?
I might pop over to the Bauer Track and Field Complex. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else? Final thoughts?
This job, the demands of this job usually suck all your free time. So there's very little family life usually when it comes to being a Rutgers beat reporter. However, because this is a field hockey household, we have a date night to watch Rutgers Maryland on Big Ten Plus, and I will have my wife ready for the next podcast to give a full breakdown of what she sees from the Scarlet Knights.
Wow! Of course, we want that.
There you go.
Get enough of that.
All right,
wow.
Candace Lanny joining the pod.
What an exciting thing to just drop at the end of us here. That's great. And until then, we'll be at Wagner. Look for me in the stands at Wagner. Look for the three of us eating pizza-flavored coffee at Wagner. And then we'll be back on Monday to recap it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Rutgers Rant. To participate in the conversation and receive live updates about the Scarlet Knights directly to your phone, sign up at NJ.com/insider.